They said time heals everything, but they never told me what to do with the memories. The ones that stick to you like the scent of rain on a cold city night. They live in the quiet corners of your mind, replaying like an old film you can't turn off. You see, time doesn't erase. It just teaches you to live with the ghosts. And her ghost. Her ghost was the most beautiful of them all. I look at this old photograph, the edges worn, the colors faded, and I see a lifetime I almost had. A story that ended before its final chapter was written. They say regret is a heavy coat to wear, and tonight it feels heavier than ever. The city lights blur through the rain-streaked window, each one a distant star, a memory I can see but never touch again. They were right about one thing, though. Time is a teacher, but its lessons are often whispered in the language of heartbreak. I met her on a day that smelled like rain and old books. The world outside was a symphony of gray, but inside that little bookstore on the corner, everything was warm. She was tucked away in an aisle, her fingers tracing the spines of forgotten stories. When she looked up, the sunlight pouring through the window seemed to find her first, catching the gold in her eyes. She smiled, a small, shy thing, and the whole room seemed to hold its breath. I remember thinking she looks like a reason to stay. We talked for hours, our words weaving around the quiet hum of the store, spilling over into a coffee shop where the steam from our cups danced in the afternoon light. It felt easy, like we had known each other in 100 different lifetimes and were just picking up where we left off. I didn't know it then, but that was the day my life split into two distinct parts, before her and after. Some people don't just enter your life, they rewrite it. They arrive without a sound, and suddenly every song on the radio is about them. Every sunset seems painted just for the two of you. Our story wasn't written in grand gestures, but in a million tiny, perfect moments. It was in the way our hands found each other as we walked through the crowded streets, a silent promise in the city's noise. It was in the long drives at night, the world a blur of passing lights, while we shared secrets that the darkness held safe for us. It was dancing barefoot in an empty street after a summer rain, the cool pavement on our skin, laughing until we couldn't breathe. With her, the mundane became magical. An ordinary Tuesday felt like a grand adventure. She had this way of looking at the world as if she was seeing all of its hidden beauty, and when she was with me, she made me see it too. She didn't just change my life. She became the very rhythm it beat to. But even the most beautiful songs can fall out of tune. The silence between us started small, a hesitation, a word left unsaid. Then it grew, filling the spaces where laughter used to be. Our arguments weren't loud. They were quiet wars waged in averted glances in the cold space between us in bed. We didn't break up. We just stopped finding each other in the same silence. The warmth that once defined us was replaced by a chilling distance. I remember the unanswered messages, my words floating in a digital void, waiting for a reply that felt further away with each passing hour. The final scene wasn't a fight. It was a train pulling away from a station on a cold, gray morning. She was on it, and I was on the platform. We didn't wave. We just watched as the distance between us became real, tangible, and absolute. The world turned a different shade of color that day, a muted blue that seemed to seep into everything. The aftermath was a storm I couldn't see, but I felt it in every bone. The rain felt different now. It wasn't romantic. It was just cold and wet. I'd sit for hours, letting it soak through my jacket, as if hoping it could wash away the hollowness inside. The city, our city, became a museum of memories I couldn't escape. Every corner held a ghost of her smile. Every cafe played a song that was once ours. I'd find myself reaching for my phone, my thumb hovering over her name, a reflex I couldn't unlearn. One night, scrolling through our old conversations, I stopped at the very end. My last desperate plea, a simple, "Are you there?" And right beneath it, her final words to me, a question that still echoes in my quietest moments. Are you okay? And below that, the two small gray words that sealed our fate. Scene. That single word was louder than any goodbye. It was the closing of a door, the final deafening sound of a heart breaking in an empty room. Years passed. The seasons changed, and the city changed with them. I changed too. The sharp edges of the pain began to soften, not disappearing, but becoming a part of my own landscape. One afternoon, I found myself standing in front of that old bookstore. It looked the same, a time capsule of a memory I had long tried to bury. On an impulse I didn't understand, I walked inside. The smell of old paper and rain-soaked earth greeted me like an old friend. I walked to the aisle where I first saw her and found the book she was holding that day. As I pulled it from the shelf, a small, folded piece of paper fluttered to the floor. My hands trembled as I picked it up. It was her handwriting. The note was simple. If you ever find this, I hope you healed. And in that moment, the storm inside me finally stilled. She taught me that true love isn't about holding on so tightly that you break. It's about learning to let go, gently. It's about wishing them peace, even if that peace is found somewhere you can't follow. I don't miss her anymore. Not in the way that aches, not in the way that keeps you up at night. I miss who I was when she looked at me like I mattered. I miss the version of myself that existed in her eyes, the man who believed in forevers and dancing in the rain. But her memory is no longer a ghost that haunts me. It's a quiet warmth, a gentle reminder of a beautiful chapter. Standing here, watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and gold, I feel a sense of peace. The past is a place I can visit, but I no longer live there. I'm walking away from the boy who lost her and stepping into the man who learned from her. Time doesn't heal all wounds. It doesn't erase the scars. It simply teaches us how to carry them with grace. It teaches us that some stories aren't meant to have a happy ending, but they can still have a meaningful one. And this one made me who I am. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If this story resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care.